When you get to be a certain age, and let's face it, if anything's a certain age, 90 is a certain age, you tend to look back on your life and wonder about it, wonder how you'll be viewed, how you'll be remembered, what your legacy is. And I know from some conversations with my father at recent events, he's worried a little bit about his legacy. And that's why it's nice when we have an occasion like this where we can reassure and share with each other all the many things that he's left, that he will be sharing with all of us and has shared with all of us throughout our lives, with his children and his relatives. And things that I can only hope to begin to share with my kids. Because frankly, 52 is starting to feel pretty certain as well. So, let's see. I sort of had a few things that you shared with us that I think you're leaving as your legacy. Social responsibility, which in the Berman family is, of course, politics. But it can be taken many ways. And for me, I always kind of took it as having a society that treats those with less as well as those with more. And that was kind of, I think, where it all came from the Berman family. And even in and I was going to then go on to a little bit of the military record, we've heard that several times, but even in a staunch anti-war family like ours, I think we have to acknowledge the contributions that Arnold and Sam made during World War II. Just to mention Sam, 70 combat missions, not 25, 70. Several service stars and a Distinguished Flying Cross, which you've heard the story about how he pointed to the ground to earn. Certainly set a high level of social responsibility that's going to be hard for all of us to live up to or pass on. And then he continued that in Lexington with how many years of service on the Lexington Town Meeting?
20 years.
20 years on the Lexington Town Meeting.
And still going.
And still going.
Did you win the communist yet?
There's also the workers' compensation, he was a
right?
member of the State Workers' Compensation Advisory Committee.
So, certainly, that's a tough legacy already to begin with. And then the love of adventure. We talked about all the traveling that Vivi and Sam have done together, the number of continents that they've set foot on. I think every continent but Antarctica. They probably had their feet on.
Antarctica we missed.
Yeah, see, everything but Antarctica. But there's still time.
Still another decade.
Vivian won't go.
And then the adventures at home. Digging mussels, sailing on the Atlantic, traveling with us across the country when we were getting a van and driving across the country. That's certainly an adventure we all shared, and a legacy. My mom cooking the meals and the engine block that we would smell while we were driving.
And his going into the, didn't she go into the
I deny it.
bathroom?
I deny it. Whatever it is.
The girls' bathroom?
I might have. No, someone tried to send one of us in because our hair was too long. Well, we were going into the boys' room and we were redirected.
They all had hair down to here.
And then culture. Clearly culture. I think he can't take full credit for the art part of culture. I think there's got to be some sharing of the blame for that. We certainly spent a lot of times on the many trips that we took in many art museums. And some of it rubbed off, and if I could share that much with my children, I'd be pretty proud, and I have to admit that I don't think I can be that proud. We've been to some, and they like some art. Music, but obviously folk. Classical, though, as well. Jazz. Music was always playing in the house. Theater, and I we try to carry that on to our kids, but not many 8-year-olds that I knew when I was 8 were going to see Hair. And that's certainly an indelible memory from my childhood. And while my dad can't claim to be the only one in the family with a musical talent, there's certainly he was a leader in this neighborhood. The Five Fields Hootenanny was led for many years by my father, and there's many people in the surrounding neighborhood, as well as most of the people in this room, that know the words to Blood on the Saddle because of my father.
Even though he can't remember them.
He remembers them. So, but basically all this comes down to, I think, all the things that are in this legacy come down to love of family. And I know that's been passed on to me, and I know that all of you have felt it passed on to you, and I know that we all hope that we can only pass as much on to our children. So, and I think that's part of what being a Berman or a Berman kin relative means, is having the love of family. So, if that's not a legacy, I don't know what is. I love you, Bob.